The architectural development mania has definitely resulted in some unfavorable events. Did you know that there is a capital city that was designed for millions of people but is virtually empty? And that the United States squandered $17 billion on a mega project that was never used and is still absolutely worthless today? Welcome to Planet Lux, and in this video we'll take a look at some useless mega projects of the world. Number 5. Interstate H3 Hawaii. Let's begin with a breathtakingly picturesque route in the Aloha state of Hawaii, the 26-kilometer-long expressway H3, which goes through one of the world's most stunning environments. It's so beautiful that there were actual concerns about people stopping and causing traffic jams. The motorway, on the other hand, is as divisive as it is magnificent. The highway was first proposed in 1960 with defense consideration in mind, since it would connect the Pearl Harbor Naval Base on the south side to the Marine Corps Air Station on the east coast. The news of its development was made with swift opposition from environmental groups as well as native Hawaiians concerned about the huge urbanization that the project would entail. Environmental laws at the time, as well as a route alteration to protect the adjacent valleys, caused the plans to be postponed forever. The overall cost of construction was $1.3 billion, which equates to roughly $50 million per kilometer, the world's most costly cost per kilometer. Despite its massive budget, this magnificent motorway isn't for everyone. Critics argue that it is a dead end because the 1960s defense reasons are no longer valid and the highway has no direct path to downtown Honolulu. In terms of megaprojects, the Interstate H3 Highway is unquestionably a success. However, it is still ineffective for some indigenous populations. Although it is one of the world's most useless megaprojects, it is not fully abandoned, as the following project on our list is. Number 4. Ciudad Real International Airport, Spain. Spain is a popular tourist destination in Europe. That was a major issue when the idea for the city's central airport was devised. It was predicted that it will become a popular destination for both domestic and foreign tourists. The goal of this second airport was to provide an alternative to Madrid's already overcrowded main airport. The new airport has one of Europe's top 5 longest runways and can accommodate 2 million people per year. In comparison to Madrid's 70 million passenger capacity, this is a small quantity. However, expansion plans were already in the works to increase capacity to 10 million per year. So, when it was ultimately operational in 2009, the $1.3 billion cost may have appeared justified. All of these plans, however, came to a halt in 2012 when the corporation behind the project declared bankruptcy. The issues began with the project's location. While it was termed the Central Airport, it was not in any way central because it was located 200 kilometers from Madrid. This exacerbated issues because most passengers chose not to travel for hours to reach the remote area, and most major airlines preferred to conduct flight operations from the capital. As a result, within the first year of operation, the newly constructed airport was reduced to a single small-time airline. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ciudad Real Airport received a lifeline when businesses collapsed and income plummeted. With little possibility of passengers returning, the airport's new owners reimagined it as a home for grounded planes owing to its dry environment, lengthy runway, and spaciousness. In August 2020, there were 65 planes parked at the airport, and construction is planned to provide a storage facility for nearly 300 planes. This innovative storage method provided the airport with a much-needed commercial opportunity. However, once the pandemic is finished, all of the stored planes will be gone, and the return to normal flying operations remains elusive. This billion-dollar megaproject remains virtually worthless for travelers, which is why we included it on our list of the world's most useless megaprojects. Number 3. Naypyidaw, Myanmar. Not only is a remote airport third on the list of the world's most worthless projects, it is Myanmar's capital, a brand new city created from the ground up. Myanmar's leader declared his intention to the public in November 2005, although he did not reveal the name of the future capital. 4 months later, he eventually disclosed the name Naypyidaw, which translates as King's Residence. The explanation for this abrupt change in money was unknown. Naypyidaw appears to have everything to draw guests, including a 20-lane expressway, over 100 luxury hotels organized into 3 hotel districts, golf courses, museums, and even a 99-meter-tall copy of a Yangon icon. However, one critical component is still missing: the populace. This new capital has a population of less than 1 million people, the most of whom live in the suburbs that existed before the city was designated as the capital. But why is it that no one wants to live there? A persistent dearth of healthcare facilities, as well as a scarcity of high-quality educational institutions and economic prospects, means that the majority of the population is hesitant to make the city their permanent home. As a result, the city frequently resembles a deserted location and is referred to as a ghost town. The incredible 20-lane roadway is nearly deserted. Congestion is unheard of, and at times a solitary car is found drifting along the massive road. It may have a future, but it is currently one of the world's most pointless megaprojects. Number 2. Forest City, Malaysia. We previously discussed an apparent ghost town, and the next item on our agenda is a green futuristic smart metropolis that would develop from reclaimed ground on 4 artificial islands and be built around an artificial forest ecosystem. Forest City's position makes it an intriguing option for investors looking to profit from its proximity to Singapore, an independent city-state. Singapore is home to the world's 2nd busiest port, as well as a booming economy. The metropolis, which will be completed by 2035 at a cost of $100 billion, will be powered entirely by renewable energy. One of the 4 projected islands is nearly finished, with 50 apartment structures, golf courses, swimming pools, and beaches. This tremendously ambitious undertaking, however, is not without challenges. A slew of economic and political roadblocks are already impeding its progress. The project is mostly sponsored by China, and Chinese people have essentially free access to the city during the first few years of building. As a result, wealthy Chinese investors who can't afford the skyrocketing rates of flats in their home country flock to Forest City. By 2019, Chinese people accounted for 80% of property owners. Even the street signs were in Mandarin, and the few schools that had opened in the area provided Mandarin classes. Because property prices are established with only the Chinese markets in mind, native Malaysians simply cannot afford to acquire these units. The inflow of Chinese investments sparked public outrage, with opponents of the project branding it a new type of colonialism. As a result, following a change in leadership, returning Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad prohibited foreigners from purchasing property in Forest City. Many foreigners began to leave the city, discouraging prospective investors. The epidemic and the international travel prohibitions were the next significant setbacks. Because of Malaysia's movement control order, no new investors may enter the country. Because of the uncertainty, many existing investors withdrew from the project. So, by the beginning of 2020, fewer than 500 people were actually living in the residential projects, which is a small number given that Forest City is meant for 700,000 people. Nobody knows what will happen to this magnificent infrastructure in the future. This is why we included it on our list of the world's most useless megaprojects. Number 1. Yucca Mountain, Nevada. In the 1980s, authorities in the United States set out to find a long-term solution to the country's rising trash problem. Yucca Mountain in Nevada was regarded as the best viable choice in 1987. The concept of being the only nuclear dumping site in the country was strongly opposed by legislative lawmakers and the general public. Despite the resistance, the project was approved in 2002 and building was resumed by the Department of Energy. Nevada's opposition, on the other hand, only got stronger. They claimed that routine exposures throughout the changeover would stigmatize Nevada citizens and have a negative impact on tourism in the state. According to the opponents, Nevada's primary basis for receiving the repository was due to its lesser population and representation in Congress. The entire endeavor had become very politicized by the time Barack Obama became office. The Obama administration declared the project unfeasible in 2010 and stopped funding it. A federal court authorized its reinstatement 3 years later. However, there has been no movement since the Biden administration indicated unequivocally that Yucca Mountain is no longer in the country's agenda. Nevada appears to have won the battle after 4 decades of planning, legal wrangling, and more than $17 billion invested in the Yucca Mountain project. However, when all is said and done, it was never utilized and is now a dormant megaproject. And with that being said, it's time to end our video. Do you believe any of them have a chance of being beneficial in the future? Let us know in the comments. Like this video and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you in the next video.